And the Saudi Netball Federation is looking to introduce netball at grassroots level and, of course, increase women and girl participation in the country. More country participation will also bode well for the global netball ambitions to have the sport included as an Olympic sport in future. Now, Saudi Arabia has been selected to host the 2024 Asian Women Netball Championships for the very first time since inception in 1985. And with this in mind, they're employing all their intellectual property from around the world to help bolster and grow their home talent. One such talent that we have right here is Zanele Mdodana, former Proteas captain, who is currently based in the Middle East, where she's working with the Saudi Arabian schools in line with growing the sport in the country. She joins us now via Zoom to unpack exactly what this means and how it came about. Zanele, thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the AM report on Newzroom 405.
Good morning, Andy, and good morning to all the viewers. Thank you so much for having me this morning. I'm just an hour ahead of you and excited to be chatting to you.
And let's talk about that assignment because you're an award-winning coach at Marty's, having won their first title at the USA competition in 27 years. People think, well, you're on a roll. You have 2 back-to-back titles, and just when things are coming together, you leave that post and you go to Saudi Arabia. Why that assignment?
So this was an opportunity given to me by Netball South Africa. There were conversations between Saudi Netball and the president of Netball South Africa to say, Saudi's looking at introducing netball as a sport in the country at grassroots level, at schools, and whether Netball South Africa, we hosted the World Cup, so sort of also as a legacy project in a way to say, do you have coaches in South Africa that could come to Saudi Arabia and assist us with kickstarting this project. So when Cecilia Molopane, the president of NSA, asked if I would be willing to do something like this, I thought, oh my goodness, what an opportunity, right? And initially it was supposed to be in November, December, January for 3 months, which is basically, if you look at where I was employed at Marty's, that's the downtime. There's no students. Students are either on holiday or they're busy with exams. So it wasn't really going to affect the work that I was doing at Marty's because it's off season. So I grabbed the opportunity and I've been here now for almost 3 months. And I can tell you, Andy, it's been an unreal experience.
And a lot of people are thinking, well, Saudi Arabia not really renowned for women and girl participation in sport. In fact, it's something that they're trying to change. Take us through that and what your role is in encouraging that participation.
Yeah, so I obviously didn't know what to expect when I arrived here. And we've firstly been welcomed with open arms. The hospitality has been unreal, the warmth of the people, and obviously, they really want to make sure that this project becomes a success. So we've been traveling and going around to schools, introducing the game of netball because they know nothing about netball. They know basketball, and netball and basketball are similar, but there are some major differences. So we've had to, play videos and show them what the game is about and just really take it down to basics, like simple things. And for me, as somebody who's been coaching at a high performance level, to really take it down and bring it down to the fundamentals has been challenging, if I can put it that way, right? But also very good because it made me understand that you cannot play the sport if the basics are not on lockdown. So, and the thing is that the girl child in this country hasn't been allowed to do a lot of things, but now the country is opening up. They're allowing women to drive. Women can work, and the girl child can play sport, can participate in sport, and we've had to adapt and adjust to the culture. Because there's certain, they cannot reveal their faces. Sometimes they have to have their hair covered and wear the long, the tights underneath their shorts or a dress. So we've had to, understand that it's been an eye-opener, for us. But the way they've embraced us and the way they're taking everything we say, they're sponges, they're so excited, they are willing to learn and they want more. And we've been traveling to schools. We go to a school for about 3 days back to back and we try and just instill the basics. They're constantly asking, when you're coming back, coach, we don't want you to leave, please. But we're also inspiring and empowering the coaches, the PE teachers, because at the end of the day, I'm one person, so I can't be planted in all the schools. So we want the teachers to continue with the work that we're actually starting.
And it's part of a bigger picture, isn't it? Because it's about getting netball to be recognized as an Olympic sport. The first step is getting more participation, more nations involved. Yes. And we've seen it with male netball as well, encouraging males to get involved in the sport, to make a bigger case for the sport to be included in the Olympics.
100%. And, and that's one of the conversations that I've had with the people in charge here, is to say, because in a country like this, the women and the men are still quite separate. I mean, if you look at schools, if you go to like the barber shop or to a hairdresser, there's a woman's hairdresser and there's a men as well. So the question has been like, will you ever get your men to participate in netball? I mean, that's not even a thought to them at the moment. What's important is to get, the women participating, the girl child participating, and once that's on lockdown, maybe they will have the look at having a males team. But having Saudi, come on board to say we want to be participating in this code, it's going to increase our numbers. And it's going into, there's an inter-golf tournament that's coming up now between the 7th and the 9th of March in Dubai. And you got Bahrain, you got Dubai. Dubai's got massive netball leagues. So Saudi's trying to catch up to that, and it's been an honor for me to be selected as one of the people to assist them in doing that.
Well, let's bring things back home now. What's next for you after that assignment? And if we're looking ahead to next week, there's a big announcement that the whole country is waiting for, which is the next coach of the Proteas. They're running a competition as NSA. Who's your money on? Have you entered? And what's next for Zanele Mdodana?
You can't ask me that question, Andy. You're going to get me into trouble about the coach, right? But I will respond to what's next for me. What's next for me is to head back home to Port Elizabeth. And I know it came as a shock to a lot of people, me resigning from Marty's. But I've given Marty's 7 years of my life. And those 7 years came with a lot of sacrifice. And one of the sacrifices was I was away from my child for so long. And he's growing. He's in grade 10 now. It's 3 years, then he's out of high school. So I want to play a very a key role in his life. With my mom, obviously, having passed away in 2021, Uzuko needs me as his mother now to be very much closer to him. And that's what I'm planning to do, get back home to Port Elizabeth. That's where my netball started, was nurtured, and I believe that charity does begin at home. So I'm looking at going back and help revive netball in the Eastern Cape. Eastern Cape has been one of the provinces that used to feed the national team. And looking at the state of netball there right now, it's a bit concerning because we haven't had a national player coming from the Eastern Cape in a while. The last one, I think, was Zanele Mdodana, and that was a while ago. So there's some work for me to do. And I think the 7 years that I've gained at Marty's and the experience that I've gained there is definitely something I'm going to use to help build and revive the netball in my own province. And and also just be closer to my son. Just to be able to wake up in the morning, and drive to Grahamstown and go and watch him play rugby. I mean, I haven't seen him play, and that is actually a shame. So I wanna be involved in his life, and I want to create that bond with him, and then the rest will play itself out. But obviously, I still want to be very involved in netball at a coaching level. There is something that I'm working on from a private perspective, but we'll see how that plays itself out.
Well, just in closing then, you said you don't want to get into trouble by preempting who the coach might be. But if you're looking at the previous statements that you had made saying the country is crying out for the first black coach of the Proteas, are you still in the same movie? Would you still want to see the next coach perhaps being a black and a South African coach?
Definitely a South African coach, and we do have black competent coaches in our country that can take the Proteas to the next level. I can tell you one thing, I do not want to be the netball president at the moment because, looking at the competition that they've been running and what the fans are saying, what the netball lovers are saying, who they're crying out for, the front runner, being Jenny van Dijk. For me, in my opinion, she's extremely worthy. She's deserving. She has won every competition under the sun in domestically, and she's a coach that's really, proven her worth. So those kind of opportunities to sit on that hot seat, it's a very hot seat. Not that I've never sat on it, but I can tell you it's a very hot seat. we need to also rally behind the person that is given that position, because they can't do it on their own. So they'll need the support from all netball coaches in the country. And we need to come up with a South African brewed way of doing things, because the aim is 2027 World Cup, and it is standing on the podium, but not on having any color around your neck, but the gold medal. So it's going to take all of us as South Africans, netball people, to be involved and make sure that we are successful come 2027. So I wish the coach, whoever she is, and the management team that she will pick around her the very best, but they can count on my support, especially when I'm back home.
Well, I think that's a good place to end it. Thank you so much for your time, Zanele, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors as well.